welcome to the Foreign Office Press Corps. On the 193rd day of lockdown, the people of Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir remain deprived of their fundamental freedoms, their right to liberty, health, education, and food, as well as continued restrictions on their freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, and freedom of religion. The Indian government has turned the Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir into the world's largest open prison. It remains today the most heavily militarized zone in the world. India continues to violate the 2003 ceasefire agreement on the line of control. On 8th and 9th February, ceasefire violations were committed once again by Indian forces along the LOC in the Chirikot sector, Jabbar, Sandhara, Sumbul Gali, and Dapsi villages of Kotli district, which resulted in the shahadat of an innocent civilian man and serious injuries to several other civilians. Pakistan has protested in the strongest possible terms at the killing and injury of innocent civilians due to India's constant ceasefire violations. Our protest was lodged formally, and the Chargé d'Affaires of the Indian High Commission was summoned by Director General South Asia to the Foreign Office on 8th and 10th February consecutively. Since the beginning of this year, in just 6 weeks, India has already committed 272 ceasefire violations along the line of control, as a result of which 3 civilians have embraced shahadat and 25 civilians have sustained serious injuries. There has been a consistent pattern in the BJP government to resort to some provocation or distraction around important international events. For a long time, we have been warning the international community about the possibility of some false flag operation by India. We are concerned about the possibility of India seeking to create some distraction during the forthcoming high-profile visits to the region. The visits to Pakistan of the President of Turkey and the UN Secretary General, and the visit to India of President Donald Trump. Such provocations are obviously designed to divert global attention from India's state terrorism in the Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, as well as from Pakistan's ongoing successful efforts in the counterterrorism arena and with respect to fulfillment of our obligations under the FATF regime. The RSS-inspired BJP government's tactics have become all too predictable and are being called out and shamed even inside India. While the credibility of such unfortunate Indian moves is already too low by now, they still carry an inherent risk of further inflaming the bilateral environment and potentially leading to unforeseeable consequences. While calling upon the international community to beware of any such irresponsible and ill-considered step by the current Indian regime, Pakistan maintains an unwavering resolve to respond most effectively and immediately to any Indian provocation, and to continue our march on the path to national development and regional peace and stability. As you are all aware, that the Turkish President, His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdogan, accompanied by a high-level delegation comprising cabinet members, senior officials, and CEOs and businessmen, are on a 2-day visit to Islamabad. Prime Minister Imran Khan and President Erdogan will co-chair the 6th session of the HLSCC in the joint cabinet format. At the conclusion of the session, a joint declaration will be signed, and a number of important agreements and MOUs are also expected to be concluded. The two leaders will also have a joint press stakeout. The High-Level Strategic Cooperation Council, the HLSCC, is the highest level decision-making forum, provides strategic direction to further strengthening of relations between our two brotherly countries. President Erdogan, during his visit, will also meet President Alvi and address a joint session of the Parliament on 14th February. Later in the day, together with Prime Minister Imran Khan, President Erdogan will address the Pakistan-Turkey Business and Investment Forum, which brings together leading investors and business people from both sides. As you are all aware, that Pakistan and Turkey have a unique and abiding relationship characterized by mutual support and an exceptional mutual trust and understanding. The two brotherly countries have always been each other's steadfast partners. Turkey supports the cause of self-determination for the people of Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and Pakistan stands by Turkey on the question of Cyprus. On Sunday, from 16 to 19th February, the Secretary General of the United Nations, His Excellency Mr. Antonio Guterres, will be visiting Pakistan. During the visit, the Secretary General of the United Nations will call on the President and the Prime Minister and will also meet Foreign Minister Qureshi at the Foreign Office. The UN Secretary General's other engagements include interactions with parliamentarians, media, and the youth. He will deliver special talk on sustainable development, climate change, and peacekeeping. Next day, on the 17th of February, the Secretary General will participate in the International Conference on 40 years of hosting Afghan refugees in Pakistan, which is a new partnership for solidarity. The conference will be attended by the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Mr. Filippo Grandi, as well as ministers and senior officials from around 20 nations who have been supporting the Afghan refugees around the world. The UN Secretary General later will also pay a visit to Lahore and travel to Gurdwara Kartarpur Sahib. The UN Secretary General's participation in the international conference is a recognition of Pakistan's exemplary compassion, generosity, and the resolve in hosting Afghan refugees for the past 4 decades, and our efforts for peace and stability in Afghanistan. Pakistan is an ardent supporter of the UN and has contributed significantly to the realization of United Nations objectives of peace and security and sustainable development in the world. The international conference takes place at an important juncture when efforts at consolidating peace in Afghanistan are making progress. Pakistan is confident that the conference will reinforce international efforts as agreed to in the UN Global Compact on Refugees and Global Refugee Forum to bring about a renewed focus on the Afghan refugees. Earlier, as you may be aware, on the occasion of the Third International Conference on Nuclear Security, organized by the International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna from 10th to 14th of February, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs published a booklet on Pakistan's nuclear security regime. This is part of Pakistan's practice to share information on the measures taken to further strengthen nuclear security and to demonstrate the high level of attention that nuclear security continues to receive in Pakistan. Pakistan has established a comprehensive and effective national nuclear security regime, which is at par with international standards and guidelines. The regime is based on an extensive legislative and regulatory framework governing the security of nuclear materials, radioactive substances, associated facilities, and activities. I thank you. I'll take some questions now. Let's start here. Adit.
मैम FATF से मुतल्लिक भी फ़ैसला आने वाला है, पाकिस्तान बड़ा होपफुल है, जो मुतल्लिका वजारतें हैं उन्होंने बड़ा अच्छा काम किया है बज़ाहिर। दफ्तर ख़ारजा ने इस हवाले से क्या एफ़र्ट्स किए हैं कि जो रिक्वायर्ड वोट हैं 1/3, उसमें कितने ममालिक पाकिस्तान के साथ खड़े हैं?
जी
जी, JUD Chief Hafiz Mohammad Saeed and his aide have been jailed by the Lahore ATC in terror financing case. How do you see the decision well before the FATF meeting in Paris to be held in the next few days? Will it help Pakistan to remove from the grey list? Thank you.
जी जी
इस वक्त जो मकबूजा कश्मीर के अंदर जो सूरत हाल है, प्रेसिडेंट ट्रंप ने सालसी के किरदार का बात की थी और दूसरी तरफ डॉक्टर आफिया सदीकी जो है वो भी मामला है, तो इन दोनों मामलात में अमेरिका की जानिब से क्या पेशरफ्त है? थैंक यू।
जी ये शायद सप्लीमेंट्री नहीं था, बट आई विल टेक दैट. I think we have seen the report that you're referring to. This matter pertains to the Ministry of Interior, and I think I would like to refer you to them on this question. जी तारिक साहब. We are always hopeful, always optimistic, and we have our partners in the international community who are willing to support Pakistan on this issue. Ji Tariq Sahab.
Ma'am, my question is about Indian atrocities and the imbalance in the region. India is going to buy an integrated air defense weapon system of $1.9 billion from India. This will lead to further imbalance in the region. What is your comment? And secondly, the Prime Minister has given instructions to the Foreign Office about stranded students in Wuhan. What were these instructions?
Ji, Pakistan has seen the advance notice issued by the United States Defense Security Cooperation Agency notifying the State Department's approval of foreign military sale to India of an integrated air defense weapons system. The sale of such sophisticated weapon system to India at this time is particularly disturbing for us, as it would further destabilize the already volatile region. The US decision would disturb the strategic balance in South Asia with serious security implications for Pakistan and the region. The international community is fully aware of India's aggressive policy designs against Pakistan and the threatening statements of Indian political and military leadership. South Asia cannot afford an arms race and conflict. It is therefore incumbent upon the international community to prevent further destabilization of the region. On coronavirus, I think you may have seen reports that our 4 students who had been infected and were under treatment under exemplary Chinese medical attention and care have recovered, and they have been discharged from the hospital. Under Prime Minister's directives, the Foreign Office and our missions in China have doubled up their efforts to make sure that all our students are taken care of, their welfare, their needs are addressed, and in very close consultation with the Chinese authorities who have taken care of our students and our nationals as their own. Thank you. Yes, I'll take Ji Rashta.
थैंक यू मैम. एहसानुल्लाह एहसान के स्केप से मुतालिक मैं जानना चाहूँगी कि रिपोर्ट्स हैं कि वो तुर्की में मौजूद हैं. क्या पाकिस्तान फ़ॉरेन पॉलिसी अपने फ़ॉरेन ऑफिस को यूज़ करते हुए उनको वापस लाने के लिए टर्किश गवर्नमेंट से कोई राब्ता करेगा, और टर्किश प्रेसिडेंट भी यहाँ आ रहे हैं? एंड सेकेंडली, क्या इंटरपोल का ऑप्शन भी इस केस में इस्तेमाल हो सकता है या नहीं? थैंक यू.
This matter pertains to Ministry of Interior, and I think I would like to refer you to them. Ji, इस तरफ करें. जी फैसल.
Ma'am, my question is related to occupied Jammu and Kashmir because after 2G service which was restored in some areas of occupied valley and other areas, people who are using VPN, Indian forces are arresting those people, and they are transferring them to the different camps outside the valley. So how do you see that aspect? Because now they are alleging those people that they are in contact with Pakistan or any sort of some sort of extremist organizations outside Pakistan. They are alleging not only Pakistan but also they are trying to name that movement also to the pertaining to the terrorism and in that garb particularly.
Ji.
कल से कुछ ऐसी इतलात आ रही हैं सैयद अली शाह गिलानी के सेहत के हवाले से, वो क्या आप कंफर्म कर सकती हैं उनकी सेहत के हवाले से क्या उनकी इस वक्त की कंडीशन है और उनको किस तरह की जो तिब्बी सहूलत दी जा रही है या नहीं दी जा रही?
जैसे आप जानते हैं, there is a complete communication lockdown, a media blackout in the Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir since the last 6 months. My answer to both your questions is that it is very difficult for people in the Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir to communicate, to obtain any assistance from the outside world because of the illegal actions taken by the Indian government. There is complete repression with 900,000 security forces in a small area of the Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir. We have also seen the reports, the speculation on Sayyid Ali Shah Gilani's health yesterday. We are also informed, there are reports that he is stable. He is not well, but he is stable. However, I will reiterate that because of the absolute communication blackout, it is very difficult to receive news from what is happening to those oppressed people in Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir and their leadership that continues to be incarcerated endlessly. Thank you. Ji, Zulkarnain.
My question is related to Indian recently election. BJP lost their position on home party, win and again in ruling party. Please, your comments.
We have seen media reports on the elections held, state elections in Delhi. The result of these elections is a choice made by the people of Delhi. And we do not wish to comment on their choice. However, I would like to highlight that throughout the campaign, election campaign in the state elections, the BJP leadership again resorted to its familiar tactic of Pakistan bashing to gain electoral advantage, to gain voter support in Delhi also. And clearly, this ploy did not succeed this time also. I'll take from this side. Ji Zarghun.
Thank you, ma'am. This is Zarghun Shah from Geo Television. During the last 2 or 3 days, thousands of Pakistanis who were working legally in Saudi Arabia have been forcibly returned to their homeland. May I know if this is a kind of repercussion to the Prime Minister's visit to Kuala Lumpur and some of his bold statements? Thank you.
Ji.
इसमें कोई शक नहीं, पाकिस्तान ने शिरकत तो नहीं की थी कुआलालंपुर समिट में, फिर प्राइम मिनिस्टर भी गए और आज तैयब भी आ रहे हैं टर्किश प्रेसिडेंट, तो क्या ये उसी को अब दोबारा देखा जा सकता है उसी रोशनी में, या ये विजिट्स का कुछ और भी मकसद है?
Regarding your question about the Pakistanis working in Saudi Arabia, I will have to refer to our missions and get accurate details on this report. I have addressed this question in my opening remarks. Turkey and Pakistan have a relationship that is not just cordial and friendly, but a relationship of two brothers. The visit of the Turkish president is part of our ongoing relationship, the efforts on both sides to strengthen these relationships. This is part of that. Thank you. I'll take the last question now. I will take one from the lady at the back, Saima. Ji, Saima.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. Saima Shabir, Arab News. Ma'am, my question is only regarding the Trump's visit to India. That though you have clear your position on this, but don't you see that right now, at this point of moment, as Trump is visiting India, so it is the destabilizing, to further destabilizing this region, this gives the impression. How do you see this? And secondly, ma'am, about the Taliban peace talks, Afghan Taliban peace talks. Turkey is also going to be a part of this. What would you like to comment on that?
Supplementary, ma'am. Supplementary. Ma'am, supplementary question regarding this visit
Ji.
of
Where are we?
visit by Turkish president. That is there any defense cooperation is also under discussion between Pakistan and Turkey, because the Turkish president is visiting Pakistan, and also regarding a supplementary regarding Trump's visit to India, that he has offered multiple times whenever he met PM Khan that he's ready to offer his role in solution to Kashmir issue. Do you expect that during his visit he should talk to Modi as well, because India is a hurdle, Pakistan never been the hurdle in negotiating Kashmir issue?
I will take it from the bottom. Yes, offers of mediation have been made by the President of the United States on not just one occasion, but more than once. We hope to see those offers translate into actual practical actions. We hope this matter would be raised during his visit to India. It is, of course, one of the most destabilizing factors of peace in the region. I think I have already addressed the question that you asked, Saima. We see the defense relations between the US and India as contributing towards destabilization of peace and security in South Asia. I have already addressed our concerns on that. Thank you very much. Thank you.